Alright, so picking up where we left off, we're going to go right through here. And dealing with generating leads, this is also commonly called prospecting. And this is where your company identifies any customer, and the customers, by the way, could be people, they could be businesses, they could be governments or anything. But they're trying to identify the customers who are most likely going to buy your products, okay, your goods and your services. Sales leads can be obtained in numerous ways, but there are just a couple of the examples shown on this slide here. Cold calling is just a way that salespeople come in contact with customers, but the thing about cold calling is that they do not know anything about them. They have no prior information on them. It's just an out-of-the-blue call, and this is what happens a lot of times with new and upcoming businesses, especially trying to get in contact with possible or prospective clients. When a prospect, and when I say prospect, it's the people who are interested in buying your product. So when a prospect shows interest in learning more about the product, the salesperson has the opportunity to do what's called qualifying the lead. Qualifying the lead involves determining whether the prospect has three things. First thing they have to see is there a need or a want, but primarily a need in this case. Number two, the authority to make the purchase decision. And number three, being receptive to the salesperson and accessibility to the salesperson. Okay, those are the three main points there. Now, before actually approaching customers, the salesperson should learn as much about them as they possibly can, about their business, their organization, the buyers that are going to be there. Try to get as much background information as you possibly can. This process is called pre-approach, and it's often referred to as the quote-unquote homework that has to be done by a salesperson before contacting the prospect. This is the exact opposite of cold calling. All right. Your ultimate goal as a salesperson during this approach is to conduct an assessment to find out as much as possible about the prospect situation, their needs and wants, so that you can design your sales presentation based upon their individual needs and wants. Consultative salesperson. If you are consulting with somebody, you are meeting with them, you are sitting down and talking with them, you try to find out as much information about them. So a consultative salesperson is the one who will talk to, research, meet with customers to find out information that you see, the four main things that you see on this slide here, about them, about the competition, about the industry, also about the product or the service that they're interested in. So after you get all the data about the needs and the wants of your client or this potential client, you as a salesperson have to develop a solution in which the salesperson's product or service, your good or your service, solves the problem for the client or fills the need or the want for the client. If there's a problem, you have to be able to fill it and solve that problem. If there's a need or a want, you have to be able to fill that need or a want and be able to explain to them how yours does a better job of doing that and meeting those needs and wants than that of the competition. Usually you get one shot at showing or presenting a solution, and you have to be able to present those proposals and handle any objections. You might have to handle any questions very confidently, but also very professionally. Make sure that if you get objections to your presentation or your information, that you don't take it personally. You don't take it as a confrontation from the client. Just understand that as a salesperson, you're going to hear no. More than likely, you're going to hear no more than you're going to be hearing yes. Right? So don't take it personally. Don't take it as a confrontation. Instead, handle it as a request for more information, and that you can use that as a positive to try to be able to close the deal. Okay, closing the sale. Negotiation is a key part of this. Negotiation is just the give and take, the process during which both sides of the deal offer concessions in an attempt to arrive at a mutual agreement. As a salesperson, you need to make sure that you emphasize the value to the customer. All right, the value, not the price. Rendering the value as critical to the customer. Okay, the follow-up. Make sure that after the sale is made, the deal is done, that you just don't end at that point. All right, you have to make sure that the product actually gets there, that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's working properly, it's fixing the problem that it was meant to fix, that anybody who needs to be trained is trained. So you have to just make sure that everything is working out, and that is one thing that is going to help in regards to developing the long-term relationship that is sought after. All right, sales management. If you get to the point in your career where you get to be in management, you have to understand that sales do provide the fuel that keeps the corporate engines running. Without sales, there is probably very little to no need for production workers, accountants, all the other staff that is there. So the sales are what drive that corporate engine, okay, to keep it running. And on the screen here, you'll see 5 things that sales managers, in essence, are responsible for, required to do. Just be aware of the 5 things here that they're going to be responsible for. Now, talking about sales goals. Without goals to strive for, a salesperson's performance would be, mediocre, average at best. More than likely, the company would fail. You always have to have high goals, set high expectations for yourself, so you always have something to strive for. Okay, so you always have something to strive for. A quota is just a statement of the salesperson's sales goals, usually based on volume. That's the big thing. Sometimes it could include things like how many new accounts, could be repeat sales that they can get. Maybe it's selling specific products, but it's usually based upon volume. Now, personal selling can be a very expensive way to market products, but having a well-organized sales force can make the process easier and less costly. You want to make sure that you're hiring the right people, that you're not just hiring too many people because they are a very, very big expense. Make sure that they are trained properly and doing their job well, and you could save yourself a lot of additional expenses, but bring in a lot of additional revenues as well. Now, when you're going out and recruiting people to be in sales, you got to make sure that you are getting to know the person, who they truly are. A lot of times when people are applying for a job, they can put on a false front to try to pretend to be the person that the company wants just in order to get the job. So what you're looking for is the fact that research shows that the strongest salespeople have some key characteristics that make them able to excel in sales. And if you can find people with those characteristics, and they're listed on this slide here, you have a better chance at getting a good person for the job, the right person for the job. Okay, be aware of the characteristics, the key characteristics here that make salespeople excel in their profession. Compensation, how are you going to pay them? Making sure that you have the right type of compensation or pay structure can reduce employee turnover, can reduce the fact that they might be trying to go to another place where they can make more money. A lot of salespeople actually rely on reviews from the customers, so that's one thing that you can look at. Sometimes companies will offer like rewards and incentives. They can offer like raises, bonuses, vacations, merchandise, just company recognition as well, to try to keep people motivated. Evaluating the sales force. You as a manager, if you're a manager in this instance, you need feedback, and you need feedback on your salespeople, usually by the customers as well. Typical performance measures include things like sales volume, contribution to company profit, how many calls per order it takes, percentage of calls that actually achieve the goal that you are looking for, just different things like that. Impact of technology on personal selling. Technology is not going to eliminate the need for salespeople, but technology can help improve the customer relationship. So you can use technology, cell phones, laptops, different things to be able to continue communication with the client, the customer, to build that long-term relationship. And that brings us to the last slide, which is our video. So this brings us to the end of chapter 18. Be sure that you are reading the book. Be sure that you are paying attention to these videos and getting ready for your unit test, which will be on April 19th. All right, this is the end.